Oh,
we do
somebody
this,
loves us.
if we do this,
Yeah, this'll work.
yeah, just hurt our backs.
Do I need to switch it then?
Yeah, switch it round like
I
that.
don't think it will let you do
It's
it whilst you're
perfect.
live though. But
Yeah,
have
but
a
when
go.
we did it last time, they said it was the right way up.
Go on then, switch it.
Hello?
No, he's on.
Anyway, welcome. We're on the
Yes.
wrong way round, but anyway,
And we do have a game.
we're going to
planned.
carry on. The girls have got some emojis. Girls, do you want to show them?
Yes.
You could all show them sideways. Might
Yeah,
help.
we're gonna show
Go on then, Evie. You go
Okay,
first.
set game. So make sure you have like your emojis open on comment. So comment a thumbs up
You're going to need to switch
if
it. I
you're
think.
still in your pajamas.
See if this works. Keep talking,
Keep
girls.
talking, girls.
Which slide am I now?
Hang on, let's give them a
wait,
second.
Yeah, give them
So
a
who's still in
second.
their pyjamas? Give us a thumbs up if you're still in
Thumbs
your
up
pyjamas.
if you're still in your pajamas.
Oh,
Oh, Auntie
Oh.
Anna's in her pajamas.
that's a lot of thumbs up. Goodness me.
It might be easier if you like comment it.
It's okay, we can see them. That's okay.
Oh,
Right, May,
Auntie Anna's,
Auntie Anna's just spamming-
definitely in her
spamming
pajamas.
Hi, Tanya.
Ow.
Here we're the right way up.
Hi,
Okay.
Ginny.
Right.
Esther's watching.
So, put a heart if you're eating breakfast.
Let's have a look. See how many hearts we've got.
I bet Auntie Anna's going to be still eating breakfast.
Auntie Anna says it the right way. Hi, Rach. Morning.
Oh, some people are, what's the word? What was this one?
Everyone in the keeping household seems to
Some
be
people
Oh,
are still in
excellent.
there. Oh, somebody's...
The Holmes family are in their
First.
pyjamas.
The Jenkins
The
boys
Jenkins
are in
one.
their pajamas.
Auntie Anna says we're perfect now. Let's leave it there.
All right, so...
Let's see who else is commenting. Morning, Lucy. Hope you and Isaac are okay. Hi, Steve and Teresa. They're also watching. Have you got another emoji, girls?
yeah,
I'll do mine. Okay. Put a laughing face if you are still in bed.
Haha, let's see who's still in bed.
I bet Auntie Anna's going to be eating breakfast in bed.
I'll be able to sit on the sofa now.
We can sit on the sofa. Ow!
Sorry, Maya.
Yeah,
Nobody said. I don't think anybody saying they're in bed. Goodness, that surprises me.
We're usually in bed.
yeah.
What? No, we're not.
Exactly.
No, we're not. Let's see what Lucy says. Does being dressed but wearing unicorn slippers count as fully dressed? Absolutely.
I do it all the time.
Have you got an emoji there, Maya, before we
Wait, what's that mean?
Yeah.
you should,
Time
have
to
you got
get
another
back
one?
in.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, one more.
Fudge over.
Put a
Sorry.
smiling emoji if you put a smiling emoji if you have leftover Easter eggs.
Oh. Well, that's a heart, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Ainscoes.
All of us back in bed.
Oh, someone
Some
put.
smiley
Hi, Vicky
emojis.
Cruikshank. She's watching. Hi, Josh and Essie.
Someone put a laughing face. Someone stood in bed.
Hi, Amber. Nice to see
Have
you.
you done all your
Oh,
emojis, girls?
some
Yeah.
more
Okay,
people are
cool.
still in bed.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow, do you want to do
At least I think everybody's online and we're the right way up, although
Yeah.
we're squeezed
Squeezed.
into this phone screen now.
The kids at
Um,
the front and then the grown-ups at the back.
Just to give you an idea of what's going on, if you're tuning in and this is your first time tuning in, we're going to be stopping this live stream soon, and then the Nixons are going to be starting it up again from their house, because Paul's going to be leading us for the time of worship and Chess and the boys as well. So in a minute we'll stop this and start that, and there might be a little pause with the feed whilst we stop and they start, so just bear with us for that. You might have to refresh your feed a couple of times this morning. But that just gives you a rough idea of what's going on. And then after that, Paul will stop his feed, and then I think Dave's going to start a new one so that we can stream the message as well. So it's all technological fun and games this morning, as we've already proved that we can't even get the first bit right. But hey, this is what happens when you're streaming church from 3 different locations across the county. But yeah, I hope you're enjoying it. Stick with us all morning if you can. It'll probably be an hour or so tops, but then hang around at the end if you can as well. That'd be brilliant. Do you want to check any more comments, girls, before we
Yes.
stop this
Oh wait, what was the?
and say anything?
Was that?
Oh, the
smiley
Latchams
one?
say we're looking good. That's okay. Thank you, Latchams, for
Oh
the
wait, some
encouragement.
people are doing thumbs up. Where's the thumbs up?
Right, so welcome everybody. We're going to stop this feed now. You can go and reboil the kettle or have a refreshment break, toilet break, whatever, and refresh your screen and join the Nixons in a sec. See you later.
Bye.
Morning, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much to the Battens for opening us up. We've all had those technical issues, haven't we? At one time or another. But thanks, guys, for persevering. Great to have you with us. Thank you, Battens. Morning, everybody. Just going to give you a few moments to get sort of checked in, as it were. Morning, Rachel Stark. Morning, Vicky Brown. Morning, Aidan. Morning, Esther. Morning, Rachel. Morning, Kirsty. Morning, Jazz. Great to have you all with us. Good morning, Ruth. Morning, Sandra. Morning, Laura. Morning, Tanya. Good morning, Bob and Lynn. Or as I always read it, Bob Lynn. Good morning, Nathan. Great to have so many of you logging in and watching. Huge thank you again to the Batten girls. Thanks ever so much for those emojis. They were brilliant. That was really good. Loved that. So just going to take a minute or two for people to catch up. And if you, as you're sort of checking in and getting settled, getting ready to worship this morning, and as we're waiting for other people just to log in for a minute, why don't you just say a prayer of thankfulness? Why don't you just say thank you to God for something? Whatever that might be, however simple and straightforward that might be, let's get our hearts and minds in a great place where we can be thankful and grateful for what's going on at the moment. Morning to Vicky, morning to the Latchams, morning Bex. So we're going to guide you through a little bit of worship until 11 o'clock, and then we're going to end this video, and then Paul is going to preach to us, which is going to be awesome. Okay. So God, we really welcome you into this time, and we invite you to speak to us, to challenge us, to change us, and make us more like Jesus, we pray, in his great, great name. Amen. Breaks the power of sin and darkness, whose love is mighty and so much stronger, the King of glory, the King above all kings, who shakes the whole earth with holy thunder and leaves us breathless in awe and wonder, the King of glory, the King above all kings. This is amazing grace. This is unfailing love, that you would take my place, that you would bear my cross. You laid down your life, that I would be set free. Oh, Jesus, I sing for all that you've done for me. Who brings our chaos? Who brings our chaos back into order? Who makes the orphan a son and daughter? The King of glory, the King of glory, who rules the nations with truth and justice, shines like the sun in all of its brilliance, the King of glory, the King above all kings. This is amazing grace. This is unfailing love, that you would take my place, that you would bear my cross. You laid down your life, that I would be set free. Oh, Jesus, I sing for all that you've done for me. So worthy is the Lamb, worthy is the Lamb who was slain, worthy is the King who conquered the grave, worthy is the Lamb who was slain, worthy is the King who conquered the grave, worthy is the Lamb who was slain, worthy is the King who conquered the grave, worthy is the Lamb who was slain, worthy, worthy. This is amazing grace, this is unfailing love, that you would take my place, that you would bear my cross. You laid down your life, that I would be set free. Jesus, I sing for this is amazing grace, this is unfailing love, that you would take my place, that you would bear my cross. You laid down your life, that I would be set free. Oh, Jesus, I sing for all that you've done for me. So just as I was encouraging you at the start of the video, let's lift up some prayers of thankfulness. Let's tell God how grateful we are for everything that He's been doing in our lives and in the lives of those around us. I was reminded by my eldest son this morning to be thankful because he woke me up this morning. He woke me up with singing, which was lovely. And he was singing the words, and I thank you for every miracle. I thank you for every miracle is what he was singing. And so it was a really great wake-up call actually, because it reminded me that's the attitude to have, isn't it? Even more so in challenging circumstances, in difficult times, to be grateful. So God, we thank you for everything that you're doing for us, for all the great things that are going on in our nation right now. Thank you for all those wonderful care workers, delivery drivers, food retailers, so many more who are helping us to get through these difficult times. Lucy says, thank you, Lord, that we are part of such a wonderful and loving church. Amen, Lucy. Absolutely.
Eli says, thank you, God, for Daddy.
Thank you, God, for Daddy. Yeah, absolutely. Well said, Eli. Let's maintain that attitude of thankfulness, shall we? Thank you for job security, says Vicky. Absolutely. In the darkness we were waiting, without hope, without light, till from heaven you came running. There was mercy in your eyes. to fulfill the law and prophets. To a virgin came the word, from a throne of endless glory to a cradle in the dirt. Praise the Father. Praise the Father. Praise the Son. Praise the Spirit. Three in one. God of glory, majesty. Praise forever to the King of Kings. To reveal the kingdom coming and to reconcile the lost, to redeem the whole creation. You did not despise the cross, for even in your suffering you saw to the other side, knowing this was our salvation. Jesus, for our sake you died. Praise the Father, praise the Son, praise the Spirit, three in one. God of glory, majesty, praise forever to the King of Kings. And the morning that you rose, all of heaven held its breath, for the stone was moved for good, for the Lamb had conquered death. And the dead rose from their tombs, and the angels stood in awe, for the souls of all who'd come to the Father are restored. And the church of Christ was born, then the Spirit lit the flame. Now this gospel truth of old shall not kneel and shall not fade. By his blood and in his name, in his freedom I am free. For the love of Jesus Christ, who has resurrected me. Praise the Father, praise the Son, praise the Spirit, three in one. God of glory, majesty, praise forever to the King of Kings. Praise the Father, praise the Father, praise the Son, praise the Spirit, three in one. God of glory, majesty, praise forever to the King of Kings. Praise forever to the King of Kings. And a very good morning also to all our students that are watching, who are normally with us each week. It's great to have you with us. I know a number of you tuning in from home. You've been heading home. But it's great that we're still able to connect with you in this way. A really good morning as well to everybody who's tuning in, whether that's for the first time, or perhaps you're not normally engaged with Grace Church. Maybe you've not met us face to face. It's great to have you with us. You're really, really welcome. And I hope you enjoy being part of our community online. And we look forward to the day when we will meet you face to face, which hopefully won't be too far in the future. But normally on a Sunday morning, we really like to have contributions. We invite people as we're singing and praying together. We invite people to contribute as they feel God might be speaking to them, saying something to them. And if that's you this morning, feel free, as a number of people have done already, just to comment on the video. Let us know what you feel God is saying to you or how He's prompting you this morning. It'd be great to hear from you. Lord, I come, I confess, bowing here, I find my rest. Without you, I fall apart. You're the one who guides my heart. Lord, I need you. Oh, I need you. Every hour I need you. My one defense, my righteousness. Oh God, how I need you. Sin runs deep, your grace is more. Where grace is found is where you are. Where you are, Lord, I am free. Holiness is Christ in me. Lord, I need you. Oh, I need you. Every hour I need you. My one defense, my righteousness. Oh God, how I need you. So teach my song. So teach my song to rise to you. When temptation comes my way, when I cannot stand, I'll fall on you. Jesus, you're my hope and stay. So teach my song to rise to you. When temptation comes my way, and when I cannot stand, I'll fall on you. Jesus, you're my hope and stay. Lord, I need you. Oh, I need you. Every hour I need you. My one defense, my righteousness. Oh God, how I need you. Lord, I need you. Lord, I need you. Oh, I need you. Every hour I need you. My one defense, my righteousness. Oh God, how I need you. You're my one defense, my righteousness. Oh God, how I need you. Yeah, God, we do thank you for your presence with us. Wherever we are, we thank you that your presence is always with us. what a great comfort it is in times of difficulty. So if you're just tuning in and you weren't aware, we're going to have a message brought to us by Paul Batten very shortly. We're just going to lead us in one more song, and then this video is going to end and another one will kick in. Okay. The Lord's my shepherd, I'll not want. He makes me lie in pastures green. He leads me by the still, still waters. His goodness restores my soul. And I will trust in you alone. And I will trust in you alone. For your endless mercy follows me. Your goodness will lead me home. He guides my ways in righteousness, and He anoints my head with oil, and my cup it overflows with joy. I feast on His pure delights, and I will trust in you alone, and I will trust in you alone. For your endless mercy follows me. Your goodness will lead me home. And I will trust. And I will trust in you alone. And I will trust in you alone. For your endless mercy follows me. Your goodness will lead me home. And though I walk the darkest path, I will not fear the evil one. For you are with me, and your rod and staff are the comfort I need to know. And I will trust, and I will trust in you alone. And I will trust in you alone. For your endless mercy follows me. Your goodness will lead me home. For your endless mercy follows me. Your goodness will lead me home. So that just about brings the end to our sung worship. Paul's going to be preaching in just a moment with a new video, so stick around for that. And stick around for notices on the page as well for more about Alpha. That's coming up during the next few days. That's really, really exciting. So make sure you tune in for that. Bye for now from us.
Hi, and welcome to this morning's message from our 1 Thessalonians series here at Grace Church, Stoke-on-Trent. I'm Paul, I'm one of the leaders here at Grace Church, and you join me from my house as like everyone else, I'm following the government guidelines and staying at home. That is when I'm not at work anyway. Hopefully you'll have enjoyed our time of worship, which has just been streamed from the Nixon's house. They've done a great job, I'm sure. I know this is pre-recorded, but they always do a great job. At this point, I'd just like to say thank you very much for tuning in. I'm aware most people watching will already be part of Grace Church. The singers are being streamed live on our Facebook channel. I just want to say welcome. If you're just dropping by or you've stumbled across this, please stick around. It won't be a very long message. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. We're up to week 6 in our 1 Thessalonians series at Grace Church. I've kind of titled this morning's message, Excellence in Your Influence. And I want us to explore what that means to have excellence in your influence. Because the influence that you have in your family and your community can be really important. And I want people from Grace Church and anyone else who might be watching this to be excellent in their influence. You see, Jesus taught us in the Bible we should be like salt and light. That comes from verses in Matthew 5, verses 13 to 14. We should act as people of influence in society, not just isolate ourselves from it. And then in Thessalonians, Paul moves beyond the analogy to provide some practical ways that Christians can be salt and light. Paul tells us how we are to live in order to have a positive, lasting influence on those around us. And just to be clear, I'm talking about Paul the Apostle in the Bible, who wrote the book of Thessalonians. I've not gone weird and started to refer to myself in the third person. So let's look at today's verses. Now concerning brotherly love, you have no need for anyone to write to you, for you yourselves have been taught by God to love one another. For that indeed is what you are doing to all the brothers throughout Macedonia. But we urge you, brothers, to do this more and more, and to aspire to live quietly, and to mind your own affairs, and to work with your hands as we instructed you, so that you may walk properly before outsiders and be dependent on no one. In these verses, Paul sees our influence coming in the typical run-of-the-mill sort of affairs in the day-to-day lives. If you want to have a lifestyle that is conducive to a positive influence, then do these 3 things. Let those around you see these 3 things faithfully. Model them at school, demonstrate them at work, wherever you're going. I want you to do these 3 things. We're focusing more on the second part of that verse this morning. To aspire to live quietly and to mind your own affairs and to work with your hands as we instructed you, so that you may walk properly before outsiders and be dependent on no one. A chap called Stephen Covey, who's an American author and educator, he says this: in order to have influence, you have to be influenced. And Paul influences us today from his writings to the Thessalonians when he says, lead a quiet life. Verse 11a, but we urge you, brothers, to do this more and more and to aspire to live quietly. Now, I don't know if you've ever written yourself a to-do list or a 5-year plan or a bucket list or something like that, but I'm pretty certain that live quietly wouldn't be on your list of things to do. It's not really something that we think is that important. However, to the church in Thessalonica, who have misunderstood the promise of Jesus' return, they thought Jesus was coming back like tomorrow. They'd become like parasites who lived off other Christians. It says clearly in the scriptures that they were living a chaotic lifestyle. They thought that Jesus was going to return very imminently. So they quit their jobs, they stopped paying their taxes, they stopped paying their bills, they began to lose credibility with the local merchants of the area. They'd become really chaotic, and all they'd lost their peace. Every time they read a newspaper or whatever the equivalent was in Bible times, they were stricken with panic, and waves of uproar rippled through the ranks. Paul is saying that we cannot maintain a positive testimony towards Christians, much less those who aren't Christians, if a spirit of restlessness and panic dominates our lives. Let those outside the faith see you leading a peaceful life. I think probably now more than ever, for everybody, leading a life of peace has never been more necessary. In the current climate of the world and our own national emergency, it's not particularly peaceful. I recorded this message earlier in the week, But I know the news will still be full of information and updates about COVID-19. We're still in lockdown across the country in order to ease the pressure on the NHS and to protect vulnerable. Everywhere you look, there's evidence of behaviour in some way linked to this pandemic. People are frightened and worried. The need for answers and reassurance is great. And as Christians, we have a part to play in the message that we put out there. Are we ones that are full of panic, or are we people that are full of peace? The second thing I want us to do in order to have excellence in our influence is to mind your own affairs. Verses 11a and b say, "But we urge you, brothers, to do this more and more, and to aspire to live quietly and to mind your own affairs." See, you cannot faithfully accomplish all of your responsibilities in life if you're into everybody else's life. Every workplace that I've ever been in has a person who loves to gossip, or maybe a few people that love to gossip. And just in case you don't know who that is in your workplace, just be careful that it's not actually you. It's fair to say most of us like to know what's going on around us. We like to hear stories, but we don't want to be ones that gossip. It's really hard sometimes not to. See, my workplace is terrible for it. If it's not being done in person, then it's being done on social media, WhatsApp groups or things like that. A secret doesn't stay a secret for very long. You see, the danger of somebody who gossip and somebody who doesn't mind their own affairs is that people get hurt. Wrong impressions are made, half-truths are spread. So don't be the gossiper. Don't pass on the gossip if you've been given it. If you are a gossip, then you'll probably be seen as someone who can't be trusted. I know I don't want to be seen as somebody that can't be trusted. This isn't the first time that Paul says this to the Thessalonians, because in 2 Thessalonians 3 verse 11, he says this, "For we hear that some of you walk in idleness, not busy at work, but busybodies," basically involved in everybody else's business other than their own. So number 3 in this list of 3 things I want us to look at is to work with your hands. Verse 11c of our passage this morning says, "But we urge you, brothers, to do this more and more, and to aspire to live quietly, and to mind your own affairs, and to work with your own hands." Give an honest day's work in whatever it is that you do. There's a chap called H. Jackson Brown Jr. Back in 1990, he sat down in the kitchen with his son Adam. Adam was about to go off to college in his first year of college, and H. Jackson Brown Jr. decided that he wanted to give him something to commemorate his time at college. So he started to write him a list of positive influences, of insights and discoveries, and it then began to snowball and turned into a book. In fact, several books that are entitled The Complete Life's Little Instruction Book. The book has hundreds of little bite-sized instructions, and just a few of them I want to read out to you this morning. He says things like, compliment 3 people every day, never forget an anniversary, smile a lot, every person you meet knows something that you don't, so you can learn from them, call your mother. This one is quite good. Buy a used car with the same caution a naked man uses to climb a barbed wire fence. Try and say something positive as early as possible every day. I like this one as well. Live so that when your children think of fairness, care and integrity, they think of you. When loved ones drive away, watch until you can no longer see the car. And one of them that caught my eye for this morning's message is this: when there's a piano to be moved, don't reach for the stool. He's basically telling his son that there are far too many people that are happy to show help and false help sometimes, and when a piano needs moving, they pick up the stool. He's saying to him, son, make sure you carry the piano. One of the most important components in developing an excellent influence is to be a hard worker at whatever you do. I want to sort of round up by saying a few more things really. By leading a peaceful life, tending to our responsibilities and working hard to provide for our needs, we put ourselves in a position to be an incredible influence for Jesus in wherever we go. But why is this important, you may be saying? Well, partly because the Bible tells us that it is, so that you may know how to behave properly towards other people. In Colossians 4 verse 5, it says, walk in wisdom towards outsiders, making the best use of the time. Let your speech always be gracious, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how you ought to answer each person. Then in 1 Timothy chapter 3 verse 7, he says, he must be well thought of by outsiders, so that he may not fall into disgrace, into a snare of the devil. I want to key in on those two categories for a moment. I want to talk to people that would say they're Christians and also people that would say they're probably not Christians. And just as a disclaimer here, I'm still learning this. I'm a long way from being perfect. I'm prepared this message though. It's got me really thinking about how I behave and how I speak to people. So firstly, I want to address people that are Christians, probably people that regularly attend Grace Church, people that have probably watched all the rest of the Thessalonian series up till now. I want to say to you, people are watching and wondering, so conduct yourself with wisdom. I think Colossians chapter 4, verse 5 and 6 is particularly appropriate. It says, be wise and look for opportunities. Be kind and think about how you speak to people. Let your speech be full of grace. And when you do have disagreements with people about what you believe, don't try and win an argument, but conduct yourself well. And also don't be a smug know-it-all, because I can promise you that nobody knows everything. See, other people are always listening and learning, so speak your words with grace. Many unbelievers refuse to attend a church service, and all of the gospel or church they'll see is by how you behave, by how you show them things. Your life and your words are a sermon or a message, so make sure your words are appropriate and gracious and edifying. Everyone is an individual, so respond with dignity and sensitivity. In some cases, they want to see your Christianity under pressure, but don't cave in. You focus on being a positive influence. Don't make changing people or someone your personal project. Treat them as people. And then secondly, I want to say, just briefly, if anyone's watching who maybe doesn't think they're a Christian or they're not sure, so please don't be scared away from the Christian faith by poor examples of influence that some Christians set. I've seen some horrible examples of behaviour by people that are supposed to be Christians. I've really cringed sometimes over the years of how people have conducted themselves. So please don't be put off if you've had a bad experience up until now. I'd also say explore the faith for yourself and don't take someone else's word for it. If you take the Bible and read it, if you meditate on its words, if you test its statements with an open mind and heart, you will find God revealed through Jesus Christ, and this revelation will be sealed upon your heart by the Holy Spirit. And maybe you've been searching for true peace for a long time. I could just say it's time to surrender. You may have struggled with inner turmoil for years, so why not allow Jesus to enter your life this morning and speak to you true peace? It's as simple as asking him to come and meet with you. That sort of wraps everything up this morning. It's probably quite short, it's quite brief. We don't want our online messages to be really, really long. But if you want to engage with anything I've said this morning, please send a message to the Grace Church Facebook page if you're looking in. If you've got my contact details direct, then obviously feel free to drop me a message. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you if you've watched this whole message. I've never done this before, so I would appreciate comments and feedback. Please be nice. That brings our morning meeting, our online meeting, to a close now. We'll be back next Sunday at 10:30 on our Facebook Live, streaming another sort of similar thing to this morning, and we'll be online every week hopefully until lockdown's lifted and we're allowed to meet again. So thank you very much for joining us. Take care.
Every day we ask so many questions. What should I wear? What's the weather going to be like? How am I going to fit everything in? But then there are those bigger questions, like why am I here? Where am I heading? Is there more to life than this?
I had arrived at an answer to the most important issue that we humans ever deal with. Is there a God? And I had arrived there without ever really looking at the evidence. And I was supposed to be a scientist.
28, I had gotten many of the things that I thought I wanted. My girlfriend was on the cover of magazines, I had a Beamer, and I was so unhappy. It was a realization maybe that I would never find happiness where I was looking for it.
I think for so many years, you know, I always just strived to be strong in myself. All I needed was me and my buddies and, you know, we'd be like invincible. But the truth is, none of us are.
And I found purpose, I found meaning, I found hope. God took something so broken and made it a beautiful art piece.
Alpha is a place where you can be yourself. You can say what you think and challenge everything. No question is too complex or too simple. And what your point of view is as important as anyone else's.
We are going on a journey together, an adventure to explore the questions of life, faith, and meaning.